Welcome back to the Pro Football Pod. We got Friday for the fans. We do it for you live every
For
Friday.
you. It's for you.
For the you.
Hey,
Oh,
I don't know about
hey,
this year.
hey.
I don't
No,
know about this year, man. There's just been too many messed up things happening for
I
the
don't know.
you.
I don't know if it's ever gonna happen again at this point. I'm just
Honestly, they had their run. You've
it's
got to
just
be
never
happy
gonna
with
happen
that.
again. It's
All
never gonna
right.
happen again. And
Greg
it's
Olson
not.
got to, join in and sing that song and be cool for a little while. And white people were cool for just like a second right there. So, that's enough for us. All right. That was it.
Hey, Jeremy Shockey. Come on now. You
Darn
gotta remember Jeremy Shockey.
the shocker.
Do you remember Jeremy Shockey?
Yeah.
Tight end.
Giants
Yeah,
tight end.
there you
Yeah.
go. Good
Yep.
job.
And then
Good
to
job.
the Saints.
Hey, we were gonna get there. He was fantasy relevant for a long time. Him and what was it? Dallas Clark for the
Dude,
Indianapolis Colts.
Dallas
That was same time.
Dallas Clark, like Jason Witten, that
Oh
was the
man,
time of not explosive tight ends, but
no.
just the ultimate safety blanket guys.
Mark Andrews.
Mittens.
A bunch of Mark Andrews. That's what
Yeah.
all of those guys
Yeah.
were. He's just doing it to another level. And we've got another level coming to you guys this week, just like our boy Max Crosby, bringing it up another level, just puffing on the backwood, not giving a
On the
fuck.
backwood.
Dude,
Right
he's
there.
just
Boy,
thugging
thugging,
out there
man.
in Las Vegas.
I love it. And I mean it's a bold move, just smoking just a straight backwood, but I
A little
mean,
bit
hey,
harsh, but
to each his own. To each his own.
hey, he got some
So,
respect from Raider Nation. I'll say that. That's
oh,
probably what he was going for.
they love him. He's easily probably the favorite of all the fans there, and rightfully so. The dude is an absolute beast.
So moving into some matchups, real quick, Bill Belichick. There was some weird thing I saw about him with some
He's
video
out.
surfacing or
Oh, you're talking
whatever.
about that.
Was that actually Bill? Because I saw that,
Yeah,
him
no, that's
coming out of the
100% him.
door, looking like walk of shame status, or he's going grab the trash or something. But
Yeah,
was that
there's a
actually
lot
Bill?
of speculations. That is Bill. It is definitely in a New England area, but it was in the summertime because the trees are green, So, but yeah, we don't know what he's doing. It doesn't look like he's just came, leaving
Doesn't look like
from
he's winning
a
Super
good
Bowls.
night.
That definitely is not what he's doing.
He's living
But
life.
that was in the summer.
So, yeah, Austin, you hit on something big though. It looks like Bill's on his way out. I don't know about that. I think that this is all just a bunch of nonsense talk right around week 10, like that happens every year. Bill Belichick is 3, 4, 5 horrible seasons away from having to hang it up. He's got a legacy that he's leaving behind. This week against the Colts, what are you guys thinking? They're playing over in London. It's minus 1.5 in the Colts' favor with a 43.5 over.
Well, because it is a overseas game over there, I believe this is another Germany game. So right back there in Frankfurt, I'm gonna take the under. Not even because of the history of how these games are being played over there, like the unders generally have hit, but also watching that game last week with the Chiefs and the Dolphins, and the commentators even brought it up a couple times to where that playing surface, that natural grass playing surface that they have over there, it plays a lot slower than what they're used to over here. Now it's better for them as far as their knees and stuff like that, but you
Yeah,
could even
exactly.
see on the field how much their cleats were actually sinking in to that playing surface. So because of that, and these teams aren't really explosive on their own at all, the under is probably my favorite bet there.
That
Yeah, I
upset
like that a
Austin
lot.
a lot.
Why is that?
You're grimacing right now. You're just obviously that was
I want
you.
points.
Austin
No,
wants big,
I like
high
that play.
scoring matchups. That's what he's going for.
No, I like the under there. I definitely like the Colts. The Pats have shown us nothing, and the Colts show us they got that dog in them. So Even because Josh Downs isn't playing, but I don't believe. But so that does hurt them. That is, I can see the Pats coming away with this one easily because of that.
I actually lean the Pats in this one just because I do think that the Pats, the last few weeks have shown that, they're starting to slowly put it together. Not necessarily to where they're going to make a run here, but they're looking more competent as a team, especially on offense. So in this specific matchup, I would lean the Patriots in this game.
Colts are
Now,
just more exciting.
we're not getting a high flying matchup on the next one either. San Francisco at Jacksonville, two decent defenses. San Francisco obviously is the better defense. They've been on this downward slide. They had a bye week last week, so we should be able to see them maybe figure out what was going on over the last three games. But San Francisco's favored, -3. They're at Jacksonville with a 45.5 over. This one's a rough one from a fantasy standpoint because anybody for the 49ers that isn't Christian McCaffrey just isn't a safe bet. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, what their offense looks like. Like, Jacksonville's been good enough on defense. Ayuk he's
Kittle is highly
still scary,
frustrating.
man. You have to start Kittle, but like
And
you don't
that's
want
why
to.
he's so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because he can easily get 2 catches for 12 yards and block the whole game, or he can give you 7 receptions, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like, he is the most frustrating tight end to me because, like you said, you have to start him every single week, but it's very 50-50 on what he gives you.
If you could, I would trade like a Kittle for Kincaid. That'd be awesome.
That'd be
So
awesome.
you
but I don't know
someone
if
going
anybody
out for
does
routes
that.
every time he's going out on the ball.
If you're lucky enough to have like a 49ers fan in your league, then yeah, I would try to utilize that for sure.
Or someone that just sees the value in like a Kittle's ceiling is higher
player.
than Kincaid's ceiling. Like that that if you're going for that boom only and you don't care about the bust because he busts so often. But what do you guys think? -3 for San Fran, 45.5 over.
I like Jacksonville in this matchup. San Fran has not shown us that they got that dog in them left. So, Purdy's not that
Hot
dude,
take.
and
Hot take.
Trevor Lawrence is. He's going to slice and dice that team up.
Spicy.
I know there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, but he's got the legs to maneuver it.
Now, we know Austin's been hating on the 49ers since before they started to tumble downhill. So
He's been hating on the 49ers since birth.
Boy, call it, man.
It started the day after the national NFC championship game from last year, or the week before, like the game to get to the NFC championship game.
Yeah.
Right after that, it was just like a massive amount of hate.
No more love for them. See, for me, I would have to lean 49 or Jaguars just with the way the 49ers have been playing. You're looking at a West Coast team coming to the East Coast, 1:00 kickoff time. So you figure their body clocks from what they're used to, they're kicking off at 10 a.m. So you've got those factors as well. The way the 49ers have been playing versus the way the Jags have been playing, I would lean Jacksonville at home, especially because they're getting the +3.
Duval.
San Francisco's been giving up a bunch to wide receivers as well so far this year. As much as we say that their defense is awesome, their defensive line is next level elite. And their linebackers are great, so they stop the run a lot. But like we say, they're going to give up a lot to the receivers. Like we talked about Christian Kirk in the wide receiver preview earlier this week. Next matchup should be a little bit more high flying, but we do have two really good defenses as well. We got New Orleans at Minnesota, -3 for New Orleans, and it's a 40.5 over. Do you guys think that that's a little bit low? Like, do you think that has a lot to do with Dobbs? Just like the disrespect of, like, that's 20 points each.
I think it has to do with Dobbs. I think it also has to do with the fact that the Saints aren't necessarily a high-flying offense at this point. The Vikings defense has been looking better here in recent weeks, especially versus the run. this is a game to where it's not posted yet as far as, oh, yeah, player props aren't posted yet. But as far as, let's see, yeah, they don't have anything major posted because I would immediately look at Alvin Kamara's receiving props,
How
his
many
receptions,
receptions? Yeah,
his
exactly.
receptions prop, and his yardage prop because the Vikings are very good versus the run, but Kamara is also getting a ton of work out of the backfield, Austin Eckler style, to where I don't think that matters. So betting purposes, definitely take a look at that. I would also lean the under on the 40.5 again, just because you figure with Dobbs, it's probably a more of a running matchup throughout the game, not necessarily high flying passes going on. And I don't, Justin Jefferson's not projected to be back this game yet, is he?
No,
He's
he
even
just
saying
started
things to the media
practicing.
that are the exact opposite of the way that Jalen Ramsey's been talking. Like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of unsure. Like, I don't really. It sounds like he doesn't want to come back, is what I'm hearing more than anything, which sucks for a
Justin?
lot of people. Yeah, I mean, that's.
No, so I don't know when it is, but he's got like the Bengals matchups circled on his schedule. Like, he's definitely going to go play against them.
Okay.
So
He
like,
wants to play against Chase
he,
and Burrow.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, that makes
and
sense.
bro, like you got to think about it logically. This man just wants to boost up his stats, his career stats.
No. He
It's
wants to boost
it
up his
falls into
career.
place.
And boosting up his
Now,
career means being
you got to
safe and
think
coming
too,
back from
though.
injury at the right time, not just coming back because you're 80%. Like,
It also, though, you got to think because, I mean, you got to put yourself back into the mind of a player. Like, yeah, the smart choice, if your season's washed, would be to sit just because your career, your longevity is what you're looking at.
what
You don't
about
But
make money
next
also,
that
year?
just
way.
as a player, it's knowing you could get out there and play, it would be so hard to just sit back and watch. Like, so hard just to sit there and watch. Like, just because of the love of the game.
If he's
Like,
Yeah,
100%, he'll
going out
go.
there playing touch football or flag football on the weekends and shit. That like love of the game type of stuff to
He,
where that's to me is why I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back and play. Maybe not this week, but versus the Bengals for that matchup,
is
I could
it
see it.
next week? We don't know when it. I think that the biggest thing is like if he's 100%, he's going to come back, but he's not going to come back early and possibly re-aggravate, especially with what the injury
No,
is.
no.
It's a high
Yeah.
ankle sprain, so that's what I'm saying. Like he's not just going to rush back. I'm not saying that he's going to sit out the rest of the season, but he's not saying I'm going to beat the timetable. He's not saying things that are saying like this is right now, I'm coming back as soon as possible. He's saying he's unsure, that it seems like he's probably going to be out for another couple weeks, and that's my expectation of him because of that.
I like the under in this game because of how good these defenses are. I lean New Orleans just because they've been more solid. Um, yeah, I like your Alvin Kamara prop. That's probably one of the best props of the day.
I lean New
Seriously.
Orleans as well, just because full strength with your starting quarterback. I mean, that's always going to give you the edge.
They also have a quarterback plus one, a little
Yeah.
add-on with Taysom Hill. So
Next matchup is defensive matchup. Used to be. We'll see what Will Levis turns that into. So we got
this is gonna be a
Tennessee
shootout.
at Tampa Bay minus 1.5 with a 38.5 over. I know that Tampa Bay just gave up a bunch of points last week to the Vikings. Was it the Texans?
Texans.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. That was the Texans game.
5 tutties.
Uh, I don't. They have a great defense, bro. Like that's the reason that
Not
they've
in
been
the
a
secondary.
contender in like most people's eyes. I mean, what receiver on the Tennessee Titans is such a threat that they have to have a good secondary to stop them? Like,
D Hop,
Outside of DeAndre
Westbrook,
Hopkins.
I mean,
Makina.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, is outside of DeAndre Hopkins, they
there's
don't
no,
really
and
Uh,
have
Traylon
anyone.
Burks is hurt. He's not
Ochizium,
even he's not even playing.
Oquanko.
So I don't know. I think that the 38.5 over under, the under is probably safe even with that, unless Tampa Bay puts up a bunch of points. But they're not a team that puts up a bunch of points unless they need to.
They have been.
They
this
have been, but
season.
that's because their defense has been giving up points. They're not putting up 30 points though.
That's because their secondary has been giving up a lot, and so is the Tennessee secondary. So I could see them both
So
tossing
you're
over
going
the
over
top
on
of both
this
these quarterbacks. I love the over in this game. 38.5. That's a low one. That's probably one of my favorite overs of the day.
This is a
I'm pretty
game
high
where
still on Will Levis.
I'm not touching the over or the under because I could easily see it going either way. Like I could see Will Levis having a typical rookie game. The Bucks just utilize the run and it's just ground and pound for both teams and it's low scoring. I could also see mistakes getting made on the defense. Will Levis making a couple crazy throws, Baker making a couple crazy throws. This could be one of the random games this season to where Mike Evans decides to show out and have a 25-point game. So little things like that make it to where I don't want to touch the over under, but I do like the Bucks minus the 1.5 at home.
I lean Tennessee in this one. I just
with Will
King
Levis.
Henry. Yeah, he hasn't shown us that he can't.
I mean, he threw
Be
4
an
touchdowns in
efficient
one
NFL
game,
quarterback.
but like he hasn't been put into a position
The
where a bunch of
Steelers
mistakes
was rough
Now-
in a
could
primetime
cost
game.
them the game.
Titans have had an extra 3 days to prepare for this game, playing on Thursday night football last week.
True.
I also like Vrabel coming off of
A
a
mini
mini
bye.
bye,
Yeah.
yeah, and a loss. So I think they got the boys fired up over there.
Now we got Cleveland going to Baltimore. Baltimore's favored minus 6.5 with another 38.5 over under. I think that's kind of crazy. I know that Cleveland's defense has been legitimately elite, but so is Baltimore's offense. And Baltimore's, man, the fact that this game's in Baltimore it's so good for them. Their schedule is so good. I know that this is a divisional matchup. They're going to have to play them away too, but they've just had these like home games in a row where they've got these tough opponents and they get to just grind them into the dirt. Probably going to happen again.
This is my favorite game as far as the 1 o'clock slate goes. And I actually like the under in this game because both defenses are very solid at this point. Yes, the Ravens offense has been putting up crazy points, but a lot of it has been on the ground. So I think if the Browns are, they force Lamar into throwing, Lamar, we've talked about it, he's been a lot more accurate this season and he's showing he can get it done with his arm. But it's also a matter of that's causing, clock stoppage causes more chances for turnovers, for 3 and outs, things like that, to where I don't see this being a very high scoring game. With it being a divisional game, I don't I can't see the
And I don't
Browns
think it
putting up a
ever
lot
has
of
been.
points, and I don't see the Ravens putting up a crazy amount of points on the Browns defense.
I can't remember a time of seeing a high score between these two teams or this division entirely. This is like
Exactly.
the most lowest scoring division when they play each other.
It's basically the Big Ten. Like,
Right.
for all intents and purposes, like you always want to lean the under. Now, the minus 6.5 for the Ravens, I know they've been crushing teams, but my initial instinct is liking the Browns plus the 6.5 on the road. Just because if this does stay a low scoring affair, I like the Browns to be able to keep it close.
I just
It
don't
seems like
trust
a game that
Deshaun
should
so much.
be-
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, that's how I feel, and that's where like it should. It seems like a game that should be decided by a field goal, but I trust Lamar so much more. Where this offenses look so much better. Like
It's
the
not even-
Browns have not had that firepower yet.
Deshaun doesn't have a fire. He doesn't look like he cares.
Yeah.
Like he wants to win. Amari Cooper's out there looking like he's trying to win a football game, and Deshaun's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll just get a hand job after
I got
this. Like,
250 mil in the bag, no matter what I do.
yeah,
Why would
exactly.
you care anymore?
Because you're a competitor. Because you were a top 10 pick. Because you know,
$250 million.
dude,
That's
that's
a lot of
only
cheddar.
a quarter of $1 billion. Like you
know
could
how
have
much
made $1
betting I could
billion.
do with that?
He could have made $1 billion in his
Now-
career.
There are some player props for this already posted on FanDuel. Lamar Jackson at 40.5 rushing yards. I love the over on that
He
because
got to scurry.
I expect Lamar to be scrambling a lot in this game.
How much
Yeah,
has he been running as of late? Because
a lot.
He's been
He's been
has he?
averaging
consistent.
7 to 9
Yeah,
carries a game,
Okay.
and
and
not
over
even
40
and
yards
half
each
of those
game.
are designed runs on read options and
They've just been very
quarterback draws
fluent.
and just design type of stuff to where you get the ball in your playmaker's hands.
Why would you not?
Now, before the season started, whenever the bookmakers were making Houston at Cincinnati, it probably looked like Houston was going to get mollywopped, and Cincinnati was just going to get to coast into a playoff game. Now, Houston's getting 6.5 points, and it's a 47 point over under. Cincinnati's coverage has been solid. They're in the middle of the pack so far this season. Houston just came off of a huge win. What are you guys thinking about this one?
I like the
Cincy.
Bengals minus the 6.5 at home. I think right now the Bengals are rolling, and we kind of called this, earlier in the season. Like with the Bengals, they were the one team outside of like the Chargers and the Vikings that we weren't hitting the panic button on, because statistically with Joe Burrow, they've started out very slow the first 4 to 5 games each
Every
season.
year.
So we knew they were going to pick it up, and I mean, with how easily they handled the Bills last week, for me, the Texans just aren't going to pose any type of a problem. So I like the minus 6.5. Now, fantasy purposes, I think the Texans, their players will still get done what you need them to. As of right now, Nico Collins still hasn't practiced this week. So
At
you could be
all.
looking at a big Noah Brown, Tank Dell type of game. And Noah
Big
Brown,
game.
I've noticed, is still out there in a lot of leagues on waivers. So he's
That's
Not all
definitely
leagues.
somebody to keep your eye on to pick up. Because in a game
Yeah,
like this, you expect the Texans to be down and forced to throw most of the second half, and garbage time money for you right there.
yeah, especially with the efficient quarterback in Stroud. I like the Bengals. That over under is pretty high for
That's what I
that's
thought
a
too.
high one. Yeah, I think put the Bengals in a parlay. I think you should feel safe about that one.
Green
Yeah,
Bay.
I like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Green Bay heading to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gets the 3 points because they're home, but nobody expects much from either of these offenses. Does it seem like Jordan Love is playing himself out of a potential starting job? Or does it seem like it just hasn't clicked in yet? Because we've seen a couple flashes where he's able to get it done, but it doesn't seem consistent, which it needs to be in the NFL.
That's one of the biggest question marks in the league of like what is going on with that team and Jordan Love. Because we
See,
did
for
see, like you said, the flash, but
for
we
me,
have
I
not
don't
seen
know how
anything
much of
lately.
it is Jordan Love versus how much of it is he doesn't really just have, you know, that elite veteran receiver that a young quarterback like him should have. I would definitely look for the Packers to bring in a veteran guy this offseason.
Devontae
Because,
Adams.
yeah, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Uh, but because, I mean, Christian Watson and Romeo Dubs and even Jalen Reed, they've all got talent, but they're also not showing to be very effective in these games. Now, the offense as a whole has looked bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that you can put on Jordan Love's shoulders. How much of it is LaFleur just has, too tight of a leash on Jordan Love with this offense because of how young he is. At this point in the season, though, it's getting to where, I mean, you're just going to have to let the kid play his game. And so, like, I love the under in this game because I don't see either offense putting up any amount of points. I think this game could look a lot like what we just saw on Thursday Night Football with the Panthers and the Bears and ending 16-13.
Two decent defenses for that reason to pick up. I think that the thing that's scary for me about the Packers is that they always tend to do it in the fourth quarter. Like they get garbage time points even when they're not down by a bunch. Like Jordan Love will do nothing, and then all of a sudden he'll end up with 15 to 16, 18 points, all from the fourth quarter.
That's
And
where you bring up my best bet is first half Green Bay Packers money their points, the under on that, because they have just been terrible the first half. Like every game they don't score points, and then fourth quarter comes and they get all their points. It's crazy how he does it. It shows that he does have that, but he has to be under pressure. He's just one of those guys that needs the pressure. He plays better under it.
that's not
Pressure makes
good
diamonds,
for
baby.
fantasy, man, because you want someone that's coming out in the first, second, third quarter, getting all their points, so that the fourth quarter, whatever they get's a bonus. But I already have my
Yeah.
25. Like, I'm solid. Oh, I'll take 30. Sure, whatever.
That's why I
Like,
dropped him for Will Levis.
yeah. I don't know about that, but
What? So you wouldn't have done
the
that.
prop right now.
I
for
mean, I'd have
first
to look at your
half-
whole team, but I don't know. Like, that doesn't seem like equal
For a
value
super
to me.
flex option.
The prop right now for first half Packers total points is over under 8.5. The total prop for the first half
They
total
know.
between both teams is 19.5.
Yeah, I would lean that.
I'd
Yeah, I would
under on
definitely lean
both
that
of
way
those.
because Pittsburgh's also been slow going. Last week they did have a great solid first drive though. So if they could do that and then just slow it down, we'd be solid. But I definitely like Pittsburgh here because their defense is, J.J. Watt. That boy
Yeah.
killing it.
I like Pittsburgh in this game as well. And then this next game that we're going to get into, Falcons at Cardinals, it is very bold of the Cardinals to activate Kyler Murray on the same weekend that the new Call of Duty is dropping.
Oh, no!
Like, that's just bad management. Like, I don't
Oh,
know,
they should have
I
just
don't-
waited till next weekend.
That's weird
yeah,
timing.
I mean, he's got to get that KD up, but Kyler has probably had the game already for a month.
He's a streamer, so yeah, he got it early access.
Exactly. And not
true.
only that, but they use his face in promos for Call of Duty.
Do they
and all of
really
that.
now?
Devin Booker was in the Call of Duty commercial. Like
He's just
He's the
getting
face of
into
Call of
like,
Duty.
dude, that's so stupid. He gets so much bad press because of that. That's so dumb for him.
Yeah,
I hope that he makes a bunch of money doing
gamers
it.
love him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whatever, do you, boo boo? But
They're all like,
Cardinals
"Fuck the
1.5.
NFL, play Call of Duty instead, dude."
Do it for us, man. Cardinals plus 1.5 over under 43.5. I don't
With
know who I
with the
have in this
Heineke led Atlanta Falcons, do we know if Drake
And a
London?
rusty-
I know you still have a piece of him. Is he playing? Justin,
Who are you talking to?
I
Justin?
don't have Drake London.
I thought you had
I
Drake
think
London.
Drake
I
London
have
was
Kyle
dropped.
Pitts.
If we did have Drake London, he was probably dropped.
Yeah, I have Kyle Pitts. Now they do have Drake London receiving props posted right now.
So probably
as
playing.
it looks like he'll be back. I want to lean the Cardinals. Like, Kyler's first game back, they're playing it at home. You figure if they're activating him, he's got to be 100%. So if you're getting Kyler at 100%, I'd have to lean the Cardinals, but their defense is abysmal.
Arthur
So-
Smith hates fantasy football. Kyler Murray is a fantasy football, legend. I think that it all leans Cardinals on this. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The 43.5 over is a little bit interesting because Arizona's defense has been really bad. And Atlanta's defense is a good defense, but they've been playing bad lately. So I think that that's why it's so high. Everyone expects it to be a really high-scoring game. I think that we're going to see a totally different Arizona Cardinals team this week, though, from all three phases. Like, they have their guy back.
It's just good for business and good for football. We need this little spark from a team that's been dead all year. So it'd be nice to see them come out on top of this game and it be a little bit of a shootout with Taylor Heineke, dogging in the field. Like, it's going to be good. It should be a good matchup.
You hear
Yeah,
that,
I'd lean the
NFL?
over.
Austin
I'd
just
lean
wrote
the
the script
over.
for you. So
The
there you
script
go.
is
Straight up.
there.
The script is already written. I'm just reading the notes, the fine print.
Now, Detroit at Los Angeles. Man, if only this game could have been played in Detroit. Like, it would have been a banger for sure if it was in Detroit. I'm just afraid of the Lions being on the road. I know that it's in a dome and that it's in Los Angeles, which really isn't on the road for anybody. 48.5 over. Detroit's favored -3.
This is a home game for the Detroit Lions quarterback. What you talking about?
Kind
Coming
of.
back home to LA. Coming back
LA,
home to
baby.
LA. I do like that. And with it being later in the day, I do like that as far as their start time goes. So Gucci there. I like the Lions in this. I think they've got the better defense. I think their defense has been playing better overall lately. Justin Herbert, not even throwing any shade or hating on him or anything, but he hasn't done anything impressive here lately. And
He
that's
hasn't
coming
really
from a
had
guy
to.
who has
It's
him as a starter in one of my leagues. And I mean, it's just check down city for him right now.
I mean, if you've watched the games, he hasn't really needed to do much. Like they were playing against the Jets, and they didn't even utilize Austin Eckler that much last week because they didn't.
He
need
still
him.
got his over on
But
receptions.
136
No, he didn't.
yards. No, Eckler only had 2 receptions. He had like 3
But
or
he
4
killed
drops.
me.
He had 8
He
targets,
robbed my
but
wallet.
2 receptions.
8 targets.
Very
Wow.
frustrating.
Yeah, when you're that consistent, and then the 1 week we buy in on it,
You
Poop.
went in hard. So
Yeah.
hard.
that's all I went in on. That was my
It
only
is.
prop.
His big bet was Austin Eckler over his receiving prop. And literally, one of those catches that he dropped would have cleared him by a mile.
That's so sad, and
It
that's how it
was-
is.
Yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles there. So
Well,
I like
hammer it
Detroit
again
minus-
this week, though.
I like
you know,
Detroit
there's
minus
still
3.
no Palmer.
Hammer it.
Hammer it again.
You got to look at also with it's the same thing for me with Eckler, McCaffrey, Brees Hall is showing it at this point. When you've got these teams with a good,
Gibbs.
solid pass rush and a good running back that is able to receive out of the backfield, it's dump off city because you've got to be able to get it out quick. And if that read's not there, you're looking for that swing out or you're running back, running that short little curl right there in the middle of the field. So, yeah, Eckler's his receiving props, hammer it because he's not going to go back into this game and drop another 4 passes.
No.
Jahmyr Gibbs, I also like his. He's been popping off. Do you know if David Montgomery's supposed to be back or not?
He is playing.
He is.
Montgomery's
Montgomery's
is.
back.
he had a full practice on
Lions.
Wednesday.
I love the
I-
Lions on
I
the
hope-
road. I know, Colby, it scares you because of Jared Goff being on the road.
I mean, not too much. I think the Lions. I think that it's the only thing that I'm cautious about. I'm not going to bet Jared Goff's numbers. I'm going to go Amon-Ra still. Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm cautionary on because David Montgomery's back.
So, quick question: would you start Kenneth Walker against Washington or Jahmyr Gibbs against Chargers?
So we talked in the running back tight end episode about Kenneth Walker and how he really is a questionable start this week. That for the most part he is an RB2. I think I'd start him over Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's not because Jahmyr Gibbs didn't do great. It's because of what Dan Campbell said this week about how they were going to go back to the way the roles were before the injury, instead of saying, "Oh,
That's
well,
not the
Jahmyr
Jahmyr.
Gibbs." Exactly. He's not saying Jameer's carved out a role and we're going to try to get him the ball
Which-
more. And he did. He absolutely did. He looked
Like, how do you
great
not just feed him the ball and then give
Well,
Montgomery?
because
any
David
legs on him?
Montgomery's a safer bet at having a consistent end of the season run. He's a veteran running back that's
But
been
that's how you
doing
keep
it.
him
And
healthy for the end of the season.
you
get
got them
this
both
young
though.
buck
Who
to
gives
do the
it,
workload.
dude? Then Jahmyr Gibbs gets to take off in the playoffs. Like it's
Well,
a
see, that's
win-win
where
for them.
Jahmyr will get his work mostly with Demont being back in the passing game.
Yep.
So his receiving props in this game, I also like because of Bosa and Khalil Mack coming off the edge. So, but I do agree he's going to take a hit. Now, I don't know though. I still think I would rather take the flyer on Jahmyr Gibbs starting
As the
over
receiving.
Kenneth
I have
Walker this
the option between Mixon and Gibbs, and I'm going Mixon easily.
Oh well, yeah,
But
I
that
would go
one's
Mixon
different.
over Gibbs.
That one's totally
But
different.
that's what I'm saying. Like he's not an RB2 between Walker and Gibbs. I'm going Walker. Walker's an RB2. Walker's going to get opportunities. He's the number one running back in that system. He plays Washington. They are playing the Chargers. The Chargers have been playing very tough rushing defenses. We keep talking about it every week about how their numbers on how much they've given up this year are not equal to some of these matchups that they're playing. Like with you adjust by schedule, it's not the same. So I don't think that they're just going to let Jahmyr Gibbs do whatever he wants. I think that this probably is a bad defense because it's not being ran properly, but it's full of talent. It could turn at any point. Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, like there's just talent on all levels. Didn't they add Eric Hendricks this year from Minnesota? Wasn't that where he went?
Yeah, they did.
Dude, they're gonna figure it out. So I don't want to bet too much on them being bad because of all that talent. Dallas Cowboys get to play the New York
Holy
Giants
hell.
twice a year,
I
and
just looked at that spread.
after they beat them by 40 last time, the bookmakers thought it'd be really fun to give them a minus 17.5 over under. That what's
What do you do
funny
with that?
is that you hammer it, dude. They have Tommy DeVito.
Oh yeah, okay.
Throwing the ball.
Danny Dimes did get hurt.
Danny
last
Dimes
week.
is gone, and so is Tyrod Taylor. I don't
Tyrod,
even know who
yeah.
is behind Tommy
0
DeVito
touchdowns for the Cowboys.
for the Giants. You mean?
Offense. For the offense.
Oh,
The
you don't think
Cowboys
they're
offense,
getting any
all
touchdowns?
defensive.
It's just going to be 35 to 0
Cowboys defense
at the half.
touchdown. Any Cowboys defense anytime touchdown prop is a great bet for this game.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's
I mean,
minus
Deron Bland has
2,000
the most.
if you go Cowboys money line.
Like,
Minus
no-
2,000.
Putting them in a parlay has no value whatsoever.
Austin, what were you
Deron
saying?
Bland has the most receptions in Cowboy history. So, we all would put that respect on Diggs' name. So put it on Deron Bland's. I told y'all boys in the beginning of the year, we're not worried with Diggs going down because we got Bland. And
Bland's
he ain't Bland.
He's not been bland at all. He's been
Not at all.
been falling. He really
Love
has.
the puns. Love them. I don't think there's a lot more to say about this game. They put the 39.5 over under because they think that Dallas won't put up 40 again because they haven't
what?
been putting up 40.
That's
Well, they don't
funny.
think they don't need
That's
to.
funny they put it at that.
Right?
Because, that's what they scored last time. So it's like,
It's-
oh, do you...
Just under that. Just under that. So let's move on.
That's wild. Like you would think, just they'd make it a couple.
So we need
points
a field
higher,
goal from the
simply-
Giants.
Do you think that
Simply
without Danny Dimes, they're going to do better? I know they got Saquon now.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's simply because the last game was 40-0. Like the Cowboys would clear that by themselves. So I would think the bookmakers would at least make it 42.5. Like, either the Cowboys have to score more or you're going to have to pray for some kind of points from the Giants.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Now, Washington at Seattle is a lot closer of a matchup. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be this close. I know 5.5 is kind of a trap for a point spread to say that they're going to win by 6. But I felt like Washington has been keeping games a little bit closer than that. Like they've been in this garbage time theme where they keep them super super tight. So I feel like it's a trap either way.
I feel like
Seattle
the Commanders have
hasn't
slowly
popped.
became like the PFP team for the
Right?
season.
We just love them.
Well, like Jahan Dotson, Terry Mack, Logan Thomas, Sam
A lot
Howell.
of
Like,
fantasy value
we've
coming
been
out of that
hyping up
place.
their guys.
Brian
all
Robinson
season.
is the
Brian
one running
Robinson
back that Austin always loves. He always loves. It doesn't
That's
matter.
right.
He's a
preach.
top 10 running back this year right now.
Really?
Fantasy.
That's
I've
awesome.
been preaching them.
So they're right now they're the PFP darlings. So like I like the Commanders plus 5.5 on the road. I don't care about the 12th man because the Seahawks, they've just not looked like the team they were last year. And like you said, the Commanders have been keeping things close. They've gone toe to toe with the Eagles both times this season. And they're just showing that they're a formidable team, even with the loss of Montez Sweat and Chase Young.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I think that helped
Absolutely.
them. Like just clearing up the
Well, Chase Young
top
wasn't
tier
really
talent.
playing anyway, so
They weren't doing much for them. So
No.
like you might as well get your young depth in there and get them to start making some plays and figure out what you got.
yep,
And sometimes you got some gems in there,
gems, uncut gems.
like Malcolm Rodrigo. That's Austin's boy right there. What do you
Wanna
think
say
about
the
this 5.5 for Seattle? You agreeing with Justin there, Austin?
Yeah. Yeah.
You like
yeah.
the The commies plus 5.5.
Yeah, I like the commies. I think it'll be a close one.
Don't say
I think
that
it'll
too
be-
loud, dude.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be one of those games that comes down to the witching hour.
Hey, there we
Hey, this
go.
could be a witching hour matchup right here. I would love that. I just want to say before we get into this next matchup, the primetime games this week, all week, Sunday or Thursday night, the overseas game that we get Sunday morning, Sunday night football and Monday night football, they're terrible.
Preach.
Yep.
Preach, brother.
Hey, the Dolphins are
Awful.
on bye, so what were they gonna do? You know.
I mean, Chiefs.
Honestly,
Chiefs,
it was
Eagles,
that's what it
teams
was.
on a bye.
Those were the only three that mattered. Like, dude, fantasy is
All of the
hurting
teams.
this week. It's hurting
Yeah.
hard.
Why
not
did we
me.
not realize that when drafting, though? Like, none of us realized. Like, I feel like that should have been a hot topic.
I was
Hey,
ready.
Why are all these
I was
players
ready.
on bye this
I
week?
check the bye weeks.
I'm
whenever
I'm straight
drafting.
right now, dude. I've got like
I
a
did
couple
too,
players
but
on bye,
I
but
didn't
like
realize
I'm
it was
not.
going to take out half my team,
That's why you
Now
gotta look at the bye weeks before you draft them. It's I got too many guys on a week 10 bye. Can't have that.
Now, if you
Well,
overdrafted any Jets players, then you're fine this week because the Jets are playing the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday Night Football. That's what we all get to look forward to on Sunday. Should be a great game. A -1 for the Jets.
I don't like that at all for the
Jets
Jets.
are
Lowest-
favored because of Aiden.
Lowest
Yeah.
point total of the week,
36.5.
What were you about to say, Colby?
Because of Aiden O'Connell, the quarterback for the Raiders.
You know, the one
He's
you called
good,
Fat
bro.
Derek Carr.
He's a swollen Derek Carr. He just looks like Derek Carr, but he just got stung by a bunch of bees, He legit has the same dark eye sockets. It's so weird, bro. I like Las Vegas here. They got me fired up. They're my new favorite team. Like,
Vegas at home, the way the Jets offense has looked.
Austin
That Jets
just
defense,
wants.
though, is real. And we've talked about it, how with the interim coach that first week, they come out firing. They did what we
They do.
expected to. The Giants also had to play with Daniel Jones out of that game. So you kind of expect them to win because they're at full health. Now, going against this Jets defense is a completely different animal. This Jets defense has made every quarterback they've played this season
Every
look
good
terrible.
quarterback. Good.
Mahomes has looked
The
awful.
best
Herbert,
quarterbacks in the league.
they won the game, but Herbert looked awful. He completed maybe 50% of his passes for 136 yards. Like, awful.
This Jets
Like,
defense.
Josh
these
Allen
primetime games,
made
though.
him look awful this year. Like, this Jets defense is real. I love the Jets on the road in this matchup. I would take the Jets. I would also lean the under 36.5. I know that's low, but this is a primetime game in
This
which
is a
I
field goal
just
game.
expect defense to be taking over here.
Yeah, you'll be lucky to see over 20.
I
Now
hope.
on-
give us 24.
Yeah.
On the flippity flip, the Denver Broncos get the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo on Monday night. And Buffalo has looked very bad since week 4 whenever they beat Miami on, I think that was Sunday Night Football in Buffalo. They looked very bad. This is a get-right game for Buffalo. I think that Buffalo wins this game. I think that the fans will have a lot to do with it. I think that it's going to be very hostile for Denver, and they're not going to get a lot done offensively, even with Buffalo being so banged up on defense. I think the only way that Denver really gets it done is with chunk plays. Jordan Poyer should be healthy right now. I haven't seen anything where he's missing time. So I don't know. -7 for Buffalo seems a little bit low to me because Buffalo, whenever they are on, they win by 15 to 20 points pretty easily. So what are you guys thinking?
Let's go, Buffalo.
I
like
think
Buffalo here.
this is a game that you should see James Cook pop off in, but you're also having to hope that the Bills actually have any kind of commitment to the run game at all. Now, you do expect the Bills to be up in this game for the most part. And so because of that, you're getting, just carries and carries in the second half, just trying to grind the clock. I don't know how I feel about that -7 spread, though. With the way the Bills have looked the last few weeks, especially that offense, and the Broncos have been looking better as of late, I don't want to bet on the Broncos +7, but that's where I would lean, just
Question:
because I don't like the Bills right now.
if Buffalo loses this game, do they have a chance at making the playoffs at all?
I believe I saw something earlier today that said statistically, with the AFC right now, the Bills can realistically only afford to lose like 2 more games. Any more
And
than that, they're needing help
and
from
they still
other
have to play the Dolphins once, and they have to play the Cowboys, and I think they have to play the Eagles. So that's
teams.
3 right
And I
there.
believe they have they already played the Chiefs?
I th- I don't know. I'm not sure. I I know that they've got a tough schedule, one of the toughest schedules coming up. This is a game that they cannot afford to lose. Everybody on that team, they're competitors, dude. Like, as much as I don't like Buffalo because they're actually competing in my division now, they always used to be the cute team. Like, oh look, Buffalo Bills fan. Like, good for you guys. You did really good at one point, but not good enough ever. So like, whatever. But they're not that anymore, dude. They're scrappy. They don't have Matt Milano. They don't have Tre'Davious White. They don't have a lot of key pieces. But this is a big game. It's in Buffalo. The last couple of games have been on the road. They played in freaking London. Like, I think that this is a totally different atmosphere, and we're gonna get to see that. But we won't know until Monday night at 8:15, whenever this game starts. You guys got anything else to add?
Good luck to you. We're in the home stretch trying to make your runs for the playoffs. You're starting to look at seeding, trying to see what can be done. Trade deadline's coming up. So definitely, we're going to try to have an episode come out for you guys then on, certain guys you want to target, guys that maybe you want to try to offload because their playoff schedule is looking a little rough. So stay tuned for that coming up next week. And, appreciate you guys hanging out. We love it. And spread the news. 500 subscribers, and I'll buy somebody a jersey. Like, I'm wanting to do something. Help me help you.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. And
Hit the
go to
bell.
TulsiRoseTea.com for all your tea needs. Hit the bell icon so you get notified when we go live. We're going to do an episode like this again next Friday. And we'll be doing a trade talk episode this week as well, like Justin was saying earlier. So until next time, peace.
Doses.
Toodaloo.